Hi, this is Billie Beene here with a U.S. news, flash update. Today's date, September 6, 2024, time about 11 a.m. in Texas. Some of the things we'll cover: President Trump to audit the U.S. government, and KH, secret meetings with Ukraine, and the U.S. Gov has a plan to hit inside Russia and hit their nuclear sites before November. Isn't this an act of war, or is it just me? So some of my sources are God in the Bible, Patriot Subscriber, Hal Turner, Elon Musk, Real Raw News, Justin Napolitano's recent interview with Lieutenant Colonel Tony SHAFFER, Monkey Works Plus. So let's get started. I'm going to begin with the tropical update. We still have a small system out in the Gulf of Mexico that has a 10 and 10 chance, 10% development in the next 48 hours, 10% in 7 days. It's believed with cold front coming into Texas and likely cooling down the Gulf of Mexico, that this will dissipate. But it's been bringing heavy rain to many parts of Texas, Louisiana, and Oklahoma. Texas and other parts of the U.S. are experiencing fall-like weather. In the majority of Texas, we'll have highs in the 80s and lows at night in the 60s. Can you believe it? We have a second system just now approaching land on the Yucatan. 0% chance of development in 48 hours, 20% in 7 days. Now, it's predicted to cross the Yucatan, come out into the Gulf of Mexico early next week. There are some warm waters here, so we'll have to watch it. A third system off of the East Coast, roughly in line with Washington, D.C., 10 and 10, 10% chance of development in 48 hours, 10% in 7 days. It's believed that this will also hit colder waters, and so development is not likely. Now, we have this. Judge Napolitano, in a recent interview with Lieutenant Colonel retired Tony SHAFFER, who had been with the DOD Intel Group, talking about what's going on in Ukraine, and I'm including Russia and Ukraine in this U.S. update because it appears that secret and unidentified parts of the U.S. government, possibly the U.S. military, are planning to perpetrate an act of war on Russia without the knowledge, will, and consent of the American people. So we've been seeing Ukraine go inside Russia, try to take over the Kursk nuclear power plant. That's been going on for several days. Of the number of troops, and it's believed that NATO is involved, certainly with mercenaries, possibly individuals who were in the militaries of NATO nations masquerading as mercenaries inside Russia. It's believed that initially 2 weeks ago, the size of the troops that went inside Russia, 11,000 to 20,000. It's believed within 48 hours, Russia had taken down 6,000. I think the number of that Russia has taken down now is maybe up to 9,000 or 10,000. It's Colonel SHAFFER believes this will go on for several months. Now, Colonel SHAFFER, Lieutenant Colonel SHAFFER reports also Zelensky to JB. And we know JB is an actor wearing a mask, masquerading as the President of the United States, who has no legal authority. Zelensky to JB, I want U.S. long-range missiles so I can hit Moscow. And Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer believes, as do many other military analysts, that eventually Russia will likely prevail. There will be a split of Ukraine, possibly along the Dnipro River. And Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer adds this: the U.S. don't want Ukraine to collapse before November. So that's going on. Now, we have this from Real Raw News that KH, a member of her campaign staff, Julie Chavez Rodriguez, met secretly with the foreign minister Dmytro Kuleba from Ukraine in Wilmington, Delaware, a few days ago. The U.S. military have secured Ukraine's foreign minister Dmytro Kuleba, who said he had diplomatic immunity from JB, but apparently parts of the U.S. military don't recognize authority of JB. At any rate, it's being alleged that Kuleba was arrested by U.S. Marine Special Forces, and gives this report that KH's campaign have been having secret meetings with Kuleba August 30, plus a few days ago, and that's when the U.S. Marines secured Kuleba. And it's believed that Kuleba, a foreign minister for Ukraine, was negotiating with KH how much money Ukraine can get, and apparently there was an exchange possibly of a lot of money, and Kuleba put in his own pockets $1 million. And it's believed the U.S. military is reporting, in addition to Foreign Minister Kuleba, Ukraine aide Yermak and Economic Minister Strodinko may be in JAG possession, being questioned. And multiple sources recently reported these individuals suddenly resigning from the Ukraine government. So the U.S. Marines caught up with Foreign Minister Ukraine Kuleba a few days ago at the Coin Hotel in Wilmington, Delaware, where he was protected by some members of the FBI. Now, as we're seeing a split in America between politically, between American citizens, Republican, Democrat, we're also seeing a split in the U.S. military. It's believed that 90% now recognize President Trump as commander-in-chief, and President Trump, it is believed, also has in his possession the nuclear biscuit, and has had since March of 2021. So that's going on. But we're also seeing a split in government agencies like CIA and FBI and DOJ between traitors and patriots. So in this case, we had some members of FBI guarding Kuleba. Now, they could be positive or negative agents for the FBI. After all, we're still going along with this charade that the JB show is in charge. So it would be likely that the FBI agents would be assigned to protect a member of a foreign nation, the foreign minister, Kuleba. So that's going on. At any rate, at some point in time, it's believed the U.S. Marines were able to secure foreign minister from Ukraine, Kuleba, and arrest him. And the secret meetings between KH's campaign staff with representatives from Ukraine was also attended by Jake Sullivan. Yeah. And so, just a few days ago, U.S. Special Forces pulled guns on the Kaluba security, and his security submitted. Kaluba said, "Oh, JB and KH gave me immunity." The U.S. military special forces said they do not recognize immunity from JB. So that's going on. And now we have this from the rumor mill. The source is Elon Musk, who says President Trump is going to appoint Elon Musk to head up a government task force to audit the entire U.S. government. Yeah, I think the U.S. government probably needs to be cut by at least 50%. And we know traitors within the CIA, FBI, DOJ, and so on need to be identified and removed. WERX is reporting this. US nukes are in the Mediterranean Sea, that's near Israel and the Middle East. And we have this, that a secret meeting of the US, UK, and NATO are having a meeting in Ramstein, Germany, in a few days. And what is being discussed is... and it's being attended by Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, whom many Americans don't believe has authority under the JB show, and the Joint Chiefs, General C.Q. Brown. Now, the Joint Chiefs of the U.S. military act as a liaison between the U.S. government and the U.S. military. The Joint Chiefs do not have combat authority. In other words, the Joint Chiefs don't direct combat operations. They're just a go-between between the U.S. government and the U.S. military. So there's a group, the Ukraine Defense Contact Group. It's being attended by 50 nations. It is to plan a preemptive strike on Russia. And the secret intel is that the U.S. government wants to send in Tomahawk missiles to hit inside Russia and take out Russia's nuclear sites that could launch nukes against North America. Yeah. And so that's going on. Now, several weeks ago, we had 3 B-52 bombers, strategic bombers. They carry the heavy nukes, and they were loaded with nukes. They're currently on the island of Diego Garcia. This intel comes from Hal Turner. And they are in nuke barns. They have to be, the B-52 with the nukes has to be protected from the elements. And that happened 2 weeks ago. Now, I submit certain elements within the U.S. military and the U.S. Gov, possibly secret meetings within Congress, have been going on where these individuals have been planning an act of war against Russia without the knowledge, will, and consent of the American people. So that's going on, and they want to get it done before November, because when President Trump is elected, he's going to shut down the war activity in the Middle East, Israel, and Ukraine, and bring peace, as is appropriate for an ambassador representing the American people, who we saw recently was saved from assassination on July 13 in Butler, PA. I believe President Trump will get back in the saddle, step up to the plate, and do what is right for the American people. And the American people definitely don't want war. Now, it's good to remember God is in charge, and we see secret intel now coming out for us to know about and pray about. I love you, and I'll see you soon.